everyone, Erin here from Trails Next Door, and I wanted to do another video to show you everything that I take on a typical day hike. Now, when you see this list, you may have your own opinions in terms of what you prefer to pack, and maybe some of the things that I've packed in my bag are things that maybe you wouldn't carry, and that's completely okay. This is just what I like to have in my bag. And I do mix it up, so depending on the length of the hike, I won't pack in all of what I'm showing you, but this is, I would say, typical for anything over 10K and of course, still within a day hike. The other thing that I'm not going to show you on here is food outside of maybe a couple of snacks that I'll throw in my bag. So when it comes to things like food, obviously on the day of, I'll pack in, you know, if we're packing sandwiches or fruit or anything that's perishable, of course, that'll be in my bag. But this is just like the bag that I have ready to go for most of the hikes. And again, I modify it depending on the distance. So let's start with the bag itself. So I have the Black Diamond Bullet 16. So it's a 16-liter bag. It's really, honestly great. It looks pretty puffy right now because I do have things in it to show you, but it's actually a pretty light bag. I think the Black Diamond website says it's about 1 pound and 1 pound 2 ounces. Really durable material. It's made out of nylon, and I have been hiking with this bag for a while. Honestly, I love it, and the thing I actually like about it is something that maybe other people might not actually like, but I like that it doesn't have so many compartments and pockets that everything gets lost. It has the right amount, and so for me, that's really important. But I'll just point out a couple things feature-wise on the bag. There are a lot of things that I won't go into because I don't want this video to be about any one thing in depth, but rather just an overview. So I have attached a couple of carabiners to the bag. There are these little nylon straps on the zippers that are quite useful. So I'll just zoom in and show you that. On this particular one, you can see I have a bear bell. It's just a Coleman bear bell. Really like this, depending again where we're hiking. But the bag has a front zippered pouch. The zippered pouch is pretty spacious. There's quite a bit of room, as you can see, like my whole hand goes in there. I can throw quite a few things in there. I'll show you what's in there in a bit. The back straps, another thing I really like about this is it does have these little loops down the strap. And I usually, as you can see here, add carabiners, and I might attach things like a water bottle or flashlight or whatever else I might want to have that's on the front of my bag versus the back. There is apparently a removable foam insert in the back. I've never taken mine out, so mine's still in there. But I was just reading on their website that I guess somewhere in here you can take out the foam back insert. I suppose that's probably good if you ever needed to wash it. Otherwise, there is also a hydration pouch hose spout in the bag as well. But let me just show you the interior. So the interior is pretty basic. Again, one big pouch and one small mesh pouch that is zipperable. So it's right there, as you can see. But that's really it. I have a couple of bags inside of there of things that I typically hike with, and I'll show you what's in each of those. Otherwise, that is the bag, and you can see once I take stuff out of it, it really compacts to a nice small amount. But for me, carabiners on the straps are clutch. It does have the waist belt as well, but yeah, otherwise, great bag. So the first thing I usually throw in my bag, depending on the season and whether or not it's, you know, maybe going to be chilly, or if I might need, let's say, some rain protection, is a jacket. This is the Arc'teryx Atom LT. I really love this jacket because it's super light, yet really warm, and it really bundles up. Like I can like bunch this thing into quite a small ball and shove it to the bottom of my bag. So I usually do that. I always pack a jacket of some sort, whether it's a raincoat or otherwise. And the other thing I find useful, because we're in Canada and we hike a lot in the winter, is to throw in things like hats and mitts if I'm not wearing them. All right, so also attached to the bag, I have just your standard Nalgene bottle. I don't go too fancy with these. I really enjoy having lids with loops because as you saw, my bag is filled with carabiners. I can literally just attach this to any of the carabiner loops and it works really well. And depending on the hike length, I may bring 1 or 2 of these. And if I bring a second, it usually goes inside of my bag, and I'll put one on the outside. I also usually pack some energy bars. This isn't an advertisement for any of them. It's just honestly personal preference, but I'll pack that. And as I mentioned earlier, some perishable foods like, maybe fruit or some cucumber or whatever the case might be, something that's going to do well on our hike. All right, so let's get into some of the smaller things that I have. Again, this is the part where, based on personal preference or the distance of the hike, some of this you may not need to pack in with you, but I will just show you what I have in my kit, so that way you can maybe just plan out your own, and I just base it on what I think I'm going to need. So we do a lot of night hiking. As a result, I'm very cognizant that, things happen and I don't want to be stuck in the bush or the forest without a light source. So I do pack in things like these light sticks, which are pretty cheap, pretty light. And I figure, if one of the 2 to 3 flashlights we have on us doesn't work, at the very least a light stick would, and that's helpful. I also in here have some fire starter. Again, could be overkill for some, but I also have an emergency fire starter kit. The second bag is this one. So I like to just throw my things in bags like this so that when I stop and I need something specific out of my bag, rather than have to dig through individual things, I can just pull the whole bag out. I find that really helpful. So I have these bags and I really enjoy them. Inside, more bags. So I color-coded this one on purpose. It's blue. And if you can guess what's inside, it has to do with water. So yes, if I'm going on a 5K hike or even anything less than 10, and sometimes even 10, especially if I'm going for hikes that are within, more kind of nearish to urban areas, I'm not going to pack my life straw, but I actually do enjoy having it on anything that has distance, anything where, having a water source might be valuable. So this is just the life straw. If you haven't seen these, they're pretty cool. You basically can, they've got a filter inside of them. You can put them directly into a water source, and it's literally a straw. So if you needed to, you could drink. Okay, so next up, we have this bag. It's a black one, and what's inside of this one? I actually don't remember. Oh, right. So this one is my emergency kit. I just use this one here. So this little Survive Outdoors Longer kit has an emergency blanket, sterile 1-liter water bag, water purification tablets, Sparklight fire starter, Tinder Quick. It has a whistle, duct tape, safety pins, and it even has oh no, this one does not have the emergency bivvy, but I do have an emergency bivvy as well. I'm very, very prepared. So more light sticks, again, just thinking. And I also have an additional fire starter and a compass. So that's all in the black bag. And you might think that this stuff is heavy, but it's actually not. I have hiked many hikes with all of this stuff in my bag, and it honestly doesn't feel heavy at all. So I mentioned the emergency bivvy. There it is. Again, this is just literally, if we're going on a longer hike and there's something goes wrong, at least it'll give us an emergency shelter. And depending where we're hiking, I do have bear spray. This is obviously, we carry it as a safety precaution. We do hike in a lot of black bear territory. Black bears are, they're not necessarily known for harming humans, but you never want to leave yourself in a situation where you are in the backwoods somewhere without something to protect yourself. So I do carry this. If we're traveling somewhere or like hiking somewhere where, you know, bears are more prevalent, I will actually use a carabiner to attach this to the outside of my bag, but otherwise I just keep it in the bag as a precaution. Now let me just quickly show you what's in the compartment before I wrap up the video. So I do have this small compartment. This is the place where I keep a lot of random things. That said, this headlamp is one of my favorites. It's the Black Diamond Revolt 350. This is a really powerful headlamp. I've mentioned it in my last video. Really enjoy it, super comfortable, 3 settings plus an infrared setting as well. A little bit on the pricey end for headlamps, but I think it's really worth it. It's also rechargeable by micro USB, which is really helpful. All right, the last couple things in my bag. Now this is where it gets a little bit crazy. I have things like headphones, hair elastics, lip balm. I have little chocolates that are keto friendly, essential oils, nail clippers. Nail clippers are actually a really important one because when you're hiking, you don't often realize if you have like a sharp toenail or something like that. So having the nail clippers with you is super valuable because you can just chop those right off. Chewable Tums, we have those. Those are helpful to have if you get indigestion on longer hikes ever. And that's about it in there. There's some change too for things like, you know, if ever we needed parking or something like that where we didn't have access to anything else. So that's really it. I don't think I'm missing too many things. I'm sure many of you, if you watch this, you're probably going to think I totally overkill it, and you're probably not wrong. But again, I pick and choose what I need to bring, and because I put everything into smaller bags, I literally just have to pull out things like the life straw if I know I'm not going to need it, and obviously pull out the bear spray if we're walking around a very local trail where there are no bears. So again, build your kit and then just use it as needed. As always, if you have questions about anything that I've showed, let me know, and otherwise I'll put links to some of these things in the description below. And thanks for watching.